It's time for your statewide Alabama weathercast.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your mid-morning forecast update. And we are taking a look back to last night where we had the beautiful aurora in Alabama. Just amazing what we were able to pick up on our sky cams here. This is a combination of looking at the Russellville sky cam, and then also we've got some really cool aurora video or time lapse from the Alabaster sky cam as well. So we'll just kind of let this play here for a little bit longer. But yeah, as you put this through over time, just really cool how you can see the pillars moving across, the kind of the difference between the green and the red there, which has to do with different type of elements you're working with, whether it be oxygen or nitrogen, and kind of how high up in the atmosphere those are. That's how you can see some of those different colors there as that geomagnetic storm, which is basically a coronal mass ejection from the sun, sending all these particles and all the radiation and protons in mass quantities. And that's how we ended up seeing this again so far to the south. So just beautiful view there of that. And had another picture from one of our friends, Tyler Young in Trussville, in the Trussville Argo area. A beautiful view of the aurora there in his neighborhood, as well as some of those pinks there. And this is one of those things, again, some of the areas like up there in the northern part of the state in Albertville, you could see, Russellville, you could see the aurora pretty much with the naked eye in many spots, but some of them you wouldn't need that long exposure from your phone camera and things like that. So definitely really cool out there. Now, as we turn our attention towards today, satellite and radar looking very quiet outside a few clouds in the central part of the state, but generally sunshine across the board. Not much to talk about as far as what we're seeing there. And as we do our SkyCam tour here, Huntsville looking beautiful there with the fall colors in the foreground on top of Monte Sano. It's 50 degrees there, and the dew points have come up a little bit. We're up into the upper 30s, so we're not quite as kind of bone dry as we were in the last couple of days. So things are starting to see a little bit more moisture starting to filter in, but it still feels pretty dry out there. Russellville, so again, this is where we saw the aurora and the beautiful colors in the trees as well for this morning, but it's 55 degrees there, warming up fairly nicely, and we're certainly warming up more than we were the last couple of days, so we'll see that here in a little bit. You can see that we do have a little bit of a breeze here in spots, especially in the northern part of the state. Here's the Alabaster cam, where we also got some of the pretty aurora views from last night, and beautiful blue skies with a few clouds moving through there. 58 degrees, so almost to 60 degrees there with that particular location. East Chilton County, one of our newer cameras here. Nice view there. It's 59 degrees there. Again, a little bit of a breeze there in that part of Chilton County. Down in Jefferson, seeing maybe a little bit of a smoke plume. Looks like we've got a fire of some sort. Might be a controlled burn. We've seen those pretty often from this camera, but again, you can see just some high clouds here and there, some ice crystals up there, but otherwise blue skies. And then in Spanish Fort, we're sitting at 64 degrees, and we're not looking towards the bay like we normally are, but see some beautiful blue skies there, and dew points up to 51. So again, we're definitely seeing a little bit of a return of some moisture, but we're not expecting that's going to mean anything as far as anything to do with any sort of rain and for a number of days before we get into kind of mid next week. Orange Beach looking beautiful there as well. Look at the color of the Gulf. It's 60 degrees there, and probably a nice day to walk along the beach, especially compared to the last couple of days. So here are the low temperatures we saw so far today. So definitely not nearly as cold as yesterday. We got down to 28 still, though, in Gadsden. So still hit upper 20s there. 37 in Coleman. Got to below freezing in Anniston at 31, and also in Alexander City. But then, again, a lot of places even further to the south got down below freezing still this morning, but still not nearly as cold as yesterday morning. 36 degrees in Mobile. As far as our Skywatcher reports, we got into the 30s for a lot of them as well. Heath Plunkett and Joppa got to 35. Duncan Hope and Independence 36. Alston Keith and Mountain Brook hit 37. Same thing with Brent Wyatt and Morris. And then Susan Campbell and Anniston hit 40 degrees. So this is what we're watching for today and through the rest of this week and into the weekend. Warmer days ahead. We continue this kind of gradual warming trend for the next several days. Weekends looking great. 60s today, 70s tomorrow, and continuing into the 70s for the highs through the weekend. And again, the weekend is looking really nice at this point and fairly warm for November. Here are our temperatures right now. So again, we've warmed into the 50s in generally the northern part of the state. 55 in Coleman, 54 in Gadsden. We're at 60 in Birmingham. And then you can see down in the southern part of the state, we're in the mid 60s generally, and even upper 60s in parts of Mobile and Baldwin counties. So compared to yesterday, looking pretty good. Looking at our forecast highs for today, we're expected to get into generally the 60s in the northern part of the state, into the mid to upper 60s, and then definitely expecting to get into the low 70s in the southern part of the state. So 71 in Andalusia, 71 in Monroeville. And again, the temperature change from this time yesterday to today is pretty significant. We are nearly 20 degrees above what we were this time yesterday in most of a good portion of the state, at least 15 to 20 degrees in the northern part of the state, and over 20 degrees in places like Monroeville and Atmore and Chatham. So nice warm up today compared to what we saw yesterday. Looking at the overall situation, so we've got again this dry air mass in place, although again we're getting a little bit more moisture starting to feed back in ahead of this front. So we actually have a front approaching from the northwest, and even though we are getting a little bit of moisture return ahead of it as this high pressure has moved to our southeast that was over us yesterday, still won't be enough to really generate anything more than just a few extra clouds for tomorrow. We don't expect any showers tomorrow, just more of a dry cold frontal passage, but then high pressure settles in again behind it, so we continue the dry weather after that. We see that in our futurecast. Looking at the next couple of days here, just a few passing clouds today. Looks like we might see some fog tomorrow morning, and then again more clouds probably tomorrow than today that we'll see moving through with the passage of the front, but not expecting any rain out of that. All right, your 7-day forecast, we're looking good, getting into the mid 60s today in North Alabama, sunshine everywhere, getting into the low 70s as we head towards the weekend. And you see that the lows moderate a good bit, so we're not nearly as chilly in the mornings by the weekend as well. So that's again feeling a little warmer than average probably there for November. And then as we get into early next week, we'll introduce small rain chances. The pattern becomes more unsettled into next week, but really it looks like it won't be maybe until Wednesday of next week before we really get a better rain chance in here. But it is looking a little bit more active next week. And then taking a look at South Alabama, a little bit warmer there, 70 degrees and sunshine today, and then getting into the mid 70s, upper 70s by the weekend, could touch 80 degrees in a few spots. And again, you can see the lows get back into the 50s. And so just a week, some nice comfortable weather as we head towards the weekend. And then again, looks like rain chances really will mainly be as we get into the middle part of next week. Well, that is your Alabama forecast update. We appreciate you watching us here on the Alabama Weather Network.